here, saying LFCTV with your boy Saint, and it's crowded in here today. You know what I mean? Couple debutantes and that. Well, I like to freshen it up and that. Got my brothers with me. It's all good, man. You know what I'm saying? So let me just go around a little bit of housekeeping and that. Anyone that's inside that will jump in whilst we're in. We'll watch this on a replay. Do you know what I mean? Make sure you're hitting that like when you jump in. Do you know what I mean? Make sure you're subscribing. Shout out my guy Northside LDN. Saw his stream. Good Arsenal content, man. Had Lee Gunner on there. Do you know what I mean? So go and check out my brother, man. Come on, guys. Let's get it. You know this. So yeah, man. Welcome, my guy. First time on the channel and that. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Big up, bro, man. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, excited. So excited to be on and chop it up, man.
Yeah, I'm good. It's love, man. It's love.
Yeah, man. Love.
My guy, man, like Jamie Phillips and that. Football chats, bro. Like that. The real one, bro. The support is real. I had to have him on. I told you I was planning something. So what's good, man? How you doing? Thanks for coming on the channel, man.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. I'm real good. I'm looking forward to this. Nice bit of debate on a Thursday night.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's lovely, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot of worse things we could be doing. Yeah. Steve, what's going on, my guy? It's been a little while. How you doing? You all right?
Another debutant on your channel after all this time, mate. I can't quite believe that.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. Steve, are you actually? Oh, yeah, because it's sarcasm. It's City, isn't it? Like,
yeah, because you never asked me until today.
That's so nuts. We do content in it, and we do content on another. And we were doing stuff on
Bob's channel, on Bob's coping mechanism.
So
that was a scream.
Hey, come on, Steve. What are you telling me? You know what it is? Like I said, anyone that knows Steve, one of the most level-headed guys that I know. He's like a sponge, takes it all in, and then goes, right, here you go, and then lets you have it. So, nah, man, nice to have you.
Good to be here, mate. Nice to see you all as well. So, those who haven't met before, good to see you. I met you, Annie. I met you on Dom's channel, and I know Jamie anyway from other stuff, mate. So, obviously, I know you, Saint. And
we're all extended family. Do you know what I mean?
It's right.
Then we come to the brothers. Then what's going on? Well, go on, Ron. Both my dogs are ill, man. It's a bit mad. Like, what's going on, Ron? What are you telling me, man? You alright?
I'm good. I'm just happy to see that new face. I have no Jamie's a regular commenter doing great stuff on his channel. Steve, it's my first time meeting you. Pleasure to meet you. Annie, I've met you the stream you did earlier in the week. Ish, the love's already there, my brother and Saint. It's just nice to have a full house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. We can chop up some stuff. I hear that. My brother, what going, Ishmael? What going? What are you telling me?
Listen,
you're under the weather in that, yeah?
Under the weather, don't matter. I'm still riding that wave from Sunday, innit? Obviously, I might sacrifice my health, but bro, it was worth it, man. It was worth it.
I hear that. Shout out Ravi, yo. Big up Nick and the Liverpool gang. Boom, pow, done, no. Shout out yourself, man. Big up yourself, man. So yeah, let's get into it. Like my boy Ish says, man. How was Sunday for you lot? We'll get into the Norwich. We'll get into that very soon. But just obviously, we don't really get a lot of time to read. That's what one of the things I was saying is like. I think I was saying it to Rom. I was like, we don't really get a lot of time to really just sink in and just chill out. It's right. Boom. You know what I mean? 2-3 days. Let's get going. Let's park it and let's move on. So yeah, like let me throw it around, man. Annie, how you feeling? You still are you much like how we're supposed to be and be like, yeah, on to the next, or are you still like, nah, man's revenue?
Yeah. I'm done with all the celebrating. Now it's on to the next. Obviously, I celebrated.
Okay.
Yeah. Once that happened, I was happy. Celebrated probably for like maybe 48 hours or something. But now, I've got the feeling of like on to the next, man. And I'm even more excited now that we've got a decent draw in the FA Cup as well. So that's everything's just exciting me right now, man. I can't lie. But more on the game on Sunday. Do you want to touch on how we played, or is it just?
Yeah, man. Give me your thoughts on. Why not? Give me your thoughts on how we played in that.
Okay. So
before Demo, make sure you stay in the cup because I got a whole Demo appreciation section for you.
Remember what I was saying? During the Norwich game?
I got a whole 2.5 minutes parked up just for you.
Hey, Demo, stick around, bro. Stick around,
innit?
Yeah, big up Demo, man.
Trust me.
yeah, just quickly on how we played. I thought we played all right. Obviously Chelsea started off the better team. Obviously it wasn't ideal having Thiago being injured in the warm up, because that would have affected how we played the game. I think we would have had a bit more control in that game if Thiago did start. But having said that, I think Naby came in. He played well as a replacement.
Don't think he had the best start, if I'll be honest. If I just intervene, he grew into the game.
Yeah, he grew into the game. But obviously that's to be expected, because his mindset was probably, I'm going to be a sub, maybe coming in the 60th, 70th. And then he's had to quickly change all that shit. I'm coming on now. So I think he done all right considering that fact. Salah was quite quiet, to be fair. But boy, we got to talk about Diaz, man. That guy. It's a scary. I think I was on a stream with Roms and Saint. I was saying it's scary, bro, what this guy could even achieve in a Liverpool top, bro. Because for him to just come into the team and fit in like a glove straight away, wow. It ain't even been a year, bro. So this is us seeing him now. Imagine in a year's time the player he's gonna be, bro. He plays with so much freedom, so much confidence. Like for him to be doing flicks and no look passes in the final just shows how much confidence he is and the sort of player that he is. So I think we can be where we're at to be excited about him, and I think he's gonna. Like I said, I don't even know what level he's going to reach, but it's going to be scary, man. But yeah, at the end of the day, we got the result, man. Penalties, I was a bit nervy, but Kelleher done his thing. Top corner, Kepa, we relied on him to be a bottle job. And yeah, man, we done our thing. And like, I think it was you two again. I was on the same stream. Some of the images after the game as well, I was just like, right, I love this club, man. Klopp fist pumping with the trophy in his hand, doing all that. Yes. I was like, I love my manager, man. Love my manager. Matip as well, celebrating with the fans. Kanate celebrating with the fans. Taki celebrating with the fans, man. It was just brilliant, man. I loved it. Harvey as well. He looked super like into it, engaged. So yeah, man, I can't complain. I think some of the photos after the game were even more like that was my highlight of the day. The photos after the game and seeing some of the images, the partying in the dressing room, all of that, seeing some of the camaraderie, man. It was just beautiful, man. I love it, man.
Nah, that's good, man. Let me So Jamie, what was your thoughts on Sunday? What you just let me know how you're feeling and your overarching thoughts on the day, really.
So yeah, Sunday, it was a tight. I thought it'd be a tight game, but I'd say it was probably the best 0-0 draw I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it was also, I believe, the best final at the new Wembley so far as well. I think easily the best domestic cup final at the new Wembley so far. Thought it was a great game, two amazing sides. You know, you take Man City out of it. This is the two best sides in England going at it in a cup final. It was always going to be a great game, end-to-end stuff. I thought, you know, we were good in spells and poor in spells, and we've been a bit like that in a few games lately as well. But you know, Luis Diaz, like you're saying there, he looks proper, don't he? He looks, you know, his link-up play. What surprises me about people like players like Luis Diaz, who's come to the club, they look like they've been there 2 years already. But his link-up play with Robbo is out of this world. You know, and they've only been playing together 4 weeks. You know, and you know things like that just shows how great our recruitment is when they get it right.
Big fact.
You know, and you know, and everything about that game. Kelleher in goal. I've got to say, Kelleher's got to be. We got to have problems with Kelleher because I don't know how we keep him. Because he could be a number one quite easily. He's a very, very good goalkeeper. And in this moment in time, he came in for the final. I have full trust on him, 100%. You know, Chelsea, they brought on that fraud to do the penalties. And, you know, Kelleher show you know.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought Kelleher during the game was impeccable, bro. He was something.
Yeah.
In that penalty shootout, let's be honest, he was a bit weedy in it. Like he was, just stay calm, like just.
They both were just diving too early, like just before they hit kicking the ball, just committing to one side, and like, just.
That's just me just being real.
He don't look like a keeper either, does he? When you look at him, he doesn't look like a goalkeeper, but but everything about Sunday, obviously, first cup in the bag, and you know. Sunday night, I already got over it. You know, Sunday night, I already got over it. I was like, right, we move on. We've got Norwich coming up, bigger things. And then I saw a compilation video that I made with my reaction for the on the winner of my watch along, and that brought me right back in. So now I haven't stopped. I haven't stopped looking at the final on Sunday. I've been watching it every day. So been great.
No,
It's been great.
you know what? And I want to go back to what you said, because there's a reason why I really asked that, and it's nice that I'm only half the way round, but I'll let you know why. Let me get into some of these comments really quickly. Yo, big up my guy Marshall, man, each and every time. Big up the panel. I was calmly watching Team Coppish, I think that is. But as soon as I saw Saint go live, I can't help but click and watch. Hey, my guy, come on, love him. Big up Coppish each and every time, man. Ravi says happy for the wins. Whets our appetite for more trophies. That's pretty much what I was gonna say. Things like what Jamie says and what any are like. No, you know what, was good, but let's move on. Just wanted to know if we are finally as a club turning into that kind of, do you know what I mean? That real championship club. That's like, there's not to say that there's anything wrong with reveling in your victories and that, but you know, real, you know what I'm trying to get to, innit? The real juggernauts of the game. They're like, yo, boom, and they're on to the next one, fully focused. Yeah. And like Ravi says, just whetting their appetite. And I'm starting to get, and that really comes from the fans. That you get a feeling from the fans, you know what I mean? That gives you an indication of the type of team and team mentality. Do you know what I mean? If we as the fans are thinking that, you can only imagine what the players are thinking. Do you know what I mean? And I'm starting to get a sense of that. So okay.
I mean, if that was Spurs winning on Sunday, the Blu-ray would have been out today.
This is what I'm saying.
So you know. So yeah,
right, Arsenal, do you know what I mean? Spurs, you know what I'm saying? Even it's just certain things. Like, obviously, don't get twisted. Chelsea ain't won in Wembley for a while, you know, like that. They've been to a few finals, but it's been a
lost a few, ain't they?
Do you know what I mean? Just things like that. But you can tell Chelsea started to become that. Yeah, cool, we've got that. Let's just start racking up. We're just start padding trophies. And when they started saying that, I was like, oh, that statement hurts, man. You know, like that. I just want to be involved in that. So,
and I want Klopp to win more of his era as well. I want Klopp to win as many trophies as he humanly possible can, because the man deserves it. He's our best manager. He's our best manager since Kenny Dalglish. So he needs to rack up these trophies, and I'm glad we got the squad now that he can take these domestic cups more seriously. And you know, when we do, we decide to win one. So you know, going forward, FA Cup obviously we're going to talk about and all that, and yeah, exciting times for us.
Steve, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, like the other two lads, Sunday was boss. We celebrated it good style. But like the club, mate, we need to move on. It's the first trophy of the season, and if you stop and dwell on that, you miss out on other games like the Norwich game. We needed to be fully focused for that. I think what's telling, Saints, is that we've got 8 players who can play up front at the moment. We've got 7 players who can play in the centre of the park, and 7 centre backs and 4 goalkeepers. So we're now in a position as a club where we can make the changes we need to make, and the drop off isn't massive. You know, Taki steps up, we'll talk about this, and scores a couple of goals. We are getting to have that elite mentality we're speaking about before, in terms of, okay, so that one's in the bag, it's done, we'll put it in the trophy cabinet and we'll move on. You're right, all the successful clubs throughout the history of football have had that mentality. We only fell away, and the drop-off was only there because of the horrendous injuries we had, and the fact that I spoke to you about this many times on Bob's channel. We didn't have a system, because when you take Virgil van Dijk out of the system, you don't have one, because he's that pivotal to what we do. Mm-hmm. So I think it was really, really good Sunday to celebrate it, to bounce off the walls and do what we did and really enjoy it. It's been a while coming, that trophy. I think, if touching on the Klopp situation that Jamie just said, if we're going to put Klopp up there alongside your Paisleys and your Shankleys at the end of his time at Liverpool, he needs 3 or 4 domestic trophies and another couple of the big ones. Personally speaking, Jurgen Klopp winning the Premier League is the greatest achievement of any Liverpool manager in history, purely because of how football has changed and the things that you have to deal with to put a club back at the top of the pile, the money side of it, the pull of London, the pull of Manchester City. What Klopp did getting us back to the top of the tree was huge. And the only reason why we didn't compete on all fronts the season before was we had the season from hell with regards to injuries. I've never seen anything like that in all the time I've watched football. So you knew it, I knew it, and all the other lads in here knew it, that the sooner the bodies came back, we would be back where we needed to be, challenging. It's not a surprise to us. So league trophies in the trophy cabinet, spot on, made up, really pleased. Let's do the business. Let's get the rest of the season out of the way. Let's knock them off one by one. Let's have that conversation about the Q word just before the Champions League final, when the other 3 are in the bag.
Hear that? Roms, my G, you was there live in the flesh. These two were both live in the flesh. These man there.
Yeah, man.
Suffering for the devilish ways, man. I was fuming, but I was mad happy for you, man. So what are you thinking?
First ever cup final. What an experience it was. What an experience. And two of the greatest managers that have ever graced the game in Pep and Mourinho, they've always said the League Cup is the first cup. It's the most important. It's the first one available that you can win. And it's almost like a catalyst. It gives you that extra motivation to then win the latter competitions. And I think it was so important to get that one in the bag. Not only so that Klopp can win more domestic trophies, just the fact it was against Chelsea as well. Like it's another big rival of ours. But I just think it was a great day. Like Annie said, I think I got over it quite quickly as well. I'd say 48 hours after this, but it's what Annie said. It's the pictures with the players after the final as well. It proper hits home that when you see how much it meant to them, and Harvey Elliott grabbing the flare, and then the media want to make a big uproar. No, like he's one of us. You know what I mean? That out of all our players, him and Trent, out of all our players, are probably the closest to us. That as a fan, you know what I mean? They're both Boyhood fans. Trent's obviously a Scouser, but the way he just grabbed the flare, and in that moment, he didn't see himself as a footballer. He saw himself as one of us. That's probably my favourite image of after, not even with the trophy, just Harvey Elliott just letting all of his emotion out. And remember, for him, it means that extra bit more because of the injury, the long-term injury. So him coming back, lifting his first piece of silver. Sorry, not first piece, but like a competition he's been involved in. It was brilliant, man. But I'm just happy we got it under the back because I honestly do believe now we will go on to win more this season. Yeah.
I hear that. Couple comments. Shout out. My cousin Matt says, I agree with Steve. Even when Klopp came second with that ridiculous points total, that put him high above Wenger for me. I hear that. Ravi, I got you. You answer my question about Morton and Jones. I'm gonna hold that for when we get into the Norwich thing in it, so don't worry, I got you. Ish, man. How you feeling?
Boy, see, for me, I don't know. Roms might say the same thing, and I don't know if Steve or Jamie, you're at the game as well, but I actually didn't really enjoy the game that much. The 120 minutes of watching it was tense. Like,
I went to the game and I didn't enjoy it, bro. Don't worry about it.
Bro, like some of the VAR calls as well. I didn't see. I couldn't really tell what was going on as well.
It's confusing when you're there.
I fully thought Chelsea scored twice. When the Matthew goal got disallowed, like I nearly went over about 4 rows. Like I was just madness was going on, bro. So
by the time that scored, you must have been going mad to then have to.
It was just it was all the highs and the lows of that day. It was just like a madness. And like I don't know. I hear what you man are saying about like just getting on to the next one, but I've kind of been this for me has been like a real big one. But I think it's because I know what the rest of this season can hold as well. Like we mentioned before, I think Jamie said about City and Mourinho, Chelsea going on to winning things after winning the League Cup. Seeing this team now, I know that this is not our full potential this season. There's levels we can still go up. So I think for me, yeah, this League Cup is a big one. I know rival fans could say it's just a cup competition, but I don't know. I really felt something. I'm even like flipping singing Dua Lipa all week, like just the vibe of that game. You'll Never Walk Alone, like just all the songs, like I don't know. It feels like I said, this is the real catalyst for something that big that's going to happen this season. This is not all in. I know it.
Now I hear that. No, you know what? To pretty much to let me end this little section. I had to give a little section to that, but no, I hear what you lot are saying, and I'm very much I agree. I'm in agreement with it. But for me, like Ishmael says, this was big for me, man. Like this is Klopp's first domestic trophy. This is like Steve says, like this is one that you need the big ones, but you need these to flavor. Do you know what I mean? To add so now we're undisputedly the most successful League Cup team. Like, you know, like things like it builds history. You need this. Do you know what I mean? No one can't tell me that Klopp you don't take the domestic cup seriously, and you know like that. It just puts water over certain man's fire. And so like I definitely it's just a fine line of really like taking time to really appreciate what it means, but then like you said, using it as the stimulus to now move on and then let's get going. Do you know what I mean? And with that, what a nice little segue into the next domestic cup. And yeah, weren't even long, bruv. And you know what I mean? We were on to our next one, on to the next like that. I'm gonna start with the lineup. Because I know certain man are onto man. I know we got tacky shouts. Was going into the lineup. Me personally, me Roms, I know, and I think Ish, but definitely Roms, I know. Were like I didn't want to see Mane.
Oh yeah.
Didn't want to see Salah. Didn't want to see Van Dijk.
I'm even annoyed Mane got like 15, 20 minutes or however long it was.
I know.
Like,
so was I. Trent.
I was annoyed that we brought on both Mane and Diaz. We didn't need both of them in that game. One of them, yes, but not both. But yeah, carry on saying.
I agree. Yeah, like that's. I know there was a few. What was your thoughts on the lineup? Me personally, I did in my preview. I wasn't far off. I went with Milner in the first place and then changed it for Bradley, and then he went with Milner in the end. And I wasn't far off, but I wanted to.
Milner had a very good game, by the way. Milner,
yeah. I have to give him his flowers. Yeah.
When I see Milner at right back, I'm a bit like, but
he had a very good game. We'll get into that when we can player ratings and that. But I just wanted to just get your overarching thoughts on is that what were you happy? Were you? Do you know what I mean? Because especially when we did the preview, me and Robbs were going back and forth with like I think it was House of Hoff who was like, "Nah, Van Dijk should start." Do you know what I mean? And we were like, "No, he shouldn't." So I wanted to see what you was thinking. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, bro. So when I saw the lineup, I was happy with it, man. It was a strong enough lineup to beat Norwich, but also rested the big boys like Van Dijk, Salah, Mane. Jota started, Firmino, Fabinho. Yeah, pretty much everyone was rested. All of our main players, but the lineup was still strong enough. I thought Henderson played well. Hey, by the way, guys, man, I don't know if this is controversial or not, but you see this. Obviously, I don't even want to compare our players, but you see Jones and Elliott. For me personally, I feel like Jones has done more in the Liverpool shirt than Elliott has, and I feel like he should be ahead of Jones in the pick. No, sorry, Elliott in the pick. This is my opinion because from when I see most of the fan base, they're like, yeah, Elliott's above Jones, but for me, I think Jones is above Elliott, man. And that performance yesterday, I feel like that kind of just proved it for me. Because I've seen Elliott in some of the big games look a bit overruled, especially that game against Inter Milan. Even when he came on in the cup final against Chelsea, like the game seemed to just pass him by. Obviously, I'm not saying he's not going to be a brilliant player, but for now, I just feel like Jones is ahead of him and should be starting ahead of him.
I just counter that though? I do agree with you to an extent. I would say Jones has had more time to prove himself. Though. Yeah. That's what I will say. But at this moment in time, I do agree with you.
Because do you know what it is? It's when I see Elliott coming on in cup finals ahead of players like, I know we talked about the final already, but ahead of players like Chambo, who had played a part in getting to the final, and ahead of players like Jones wasn't even in the squad, bro.
Yeah, I was shocked when I saw that. Yeah, I was shocked.
Just quickly going that Elliott wasn't even in the squad until Thiago got injured. So
yeah.
For me, is how Elliott overtook Ox and Jones
and
in the squad.
Curtis Jones.
He overtook Ox in it because Ox is in the squad.
Yeah.
Coming on, so like. Just quickly watching the game yesterday, Ox looked just pissed the whole time he was playing.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, he looked really.
He didn't look like he was really feeling it. And
do you know
like that had something to do with it a little bit?
But do you know
I could agree though. Sorry, Roms, go on. What was you gonna say, bro?
No, Steve, go first.
I was going to say, it is a difficult one to sort of do the comparison because when Elliott came on. When Elliott plays, he sometimes plays with a weaker midfield than Jones does. So it's about who they play with. So Jones plays with Fabinho and Henderson sometimes. So you get the control in the midfield. And he can go and do his thing, and he comes onto the ball. He changes direction, and he brings other people into play. Elliott's been picked before Henderson. So there's a little bit more of a defensive responsibility for Elliott on that right-hand side because Trent likes to be advanced of him. So I think some of the comparisons I get why you would say that. I thought Jones was brilliant in the first half yesterday. But the manager went with Elliott at the start of the season at the right side of the central midfield three. So there's got to be something there that fits in with what we're trying to do. He's very clever. He looks after the ball really well. I think if there is a slight, it's not a criticism. If there's a change in Jones's game that needs to come, is sometimes he holds on to the ball for too long and he kills off the runs of the people that are around him. So you make a 5-yard burst and you're into space and all you need is the ball and you're clean through and your man's still got the ball. That becomes frustrating. And as fans who see that, that becomes a little bit frustrating. What I would say, both of them are 18 and 21 years old, respectively. What we as a fan base need to stop doing is comparing them to Thiago, comparing them to Fabinho and Henderson, because they're the finished articles. So both of those lads learn 5% of their game, their growth in their game from those three players. Can you imagine in 5 years' time how good those three lads will be training every day with the likes of Thiago and Fabinho? They've got so much to learn. And how many other 18-year-olds get to play in cup finals? Most of them sit at home playing them on the PlayStation, don't they? So I think some context required around Elliott. He's on a journey. He's come back from an injury. He's still backing out with a few challenges. Psychologically, that's the hardest thing to do, get over the fact that you've got to put your foot in there again. But I think both of them are a real credit to the club and to the age they are and the journey they're going to go on. So I can't pick one over the other. I just see them as exciting prospects for the future.
Can I think, I don't know, this is my thoughts, and like Caesar says this as well. I think like there's a case that some of us thought that Harvey might have been used as a right winger on the right, as like a Salah backup kind of a thing, because he's got the potential to do it. When he was loaned out, like Caesar says, to be fair, he says, anyone think Elliott would perform best as a right winger? I remember him doing okay there for Blackburn at times, and I've seen Klopp utilize him there a couple of times, and like he says, he was used there at Blackburn a few times. Then he comes back, and it's like, oh no, actually, he's now going to be this 8. Do you know what I mean? And like in terms of that, I've seen him with what I thought would be the best midfield of Thiago, Fab, and him. And it just hasn't worked out quite as I would like. Do you know what I mean? And so I just feel like maybe it's just not quite finding. And then you got to remember what Ennie says is like Jones has done more than Harvey has, undoubtedly, not just because, but obviously Harvey's been out for quite some time. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you've got that, and it's just a bit. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit stop-start, and I think that isn't helping. We're in a social media, man. It's the day we're in the microwave age. You're gonna get comparisons, like who's better, like that's just how it is. And I don't think it's fair. They're both different. Like you said, 18, 21 respectively, we should just be, do you know what I mean, pushing them. But I do think that there's a lot of people throw dirt on Jones's game. Much like Caesar says here, Jones is a bad boy, defo above Elliott. He is too composed. Should get talked about with the likes of Saka, Sancho, and Foden. He just don't put up numbers. Real eye test kind of player though, and I know what he's like he means, and I kind of agree with him in that sense. In my opinion, I want Jones to see the more attacking Jones, not the holding type of Jones. Yesterday showed how good he is in attacking.
Man.
What you got to say about that, Jay?
Look, Curtis Jones. I love Curtis. I love all our players. There's not a player I don't like. I mean, they're Liverpool boys, ain't they? Liverpool players. You support every one of them. I hate comparing players to players that are in your team, because you're one family, you're one team at the end of the day, and you're all doing the job for the gaffer. So we shouldn't be comparing players all the time. Look, I like Curtis Jones, but Harvey Elliott for me. I was about to say comparing players. I'm going to do it now. But Harvey Elliott for me is a technically better player, I think. And all this talk about him being, like saying about being a right wing, he's a central midfielder. You can see it in this Liverpool team. He's a central midfielder. And one thing I will say about Curtis Jones, I don't know what his position is. This is my problem with Curtis Jones. I don't know what his position is. He needs the master of position for me. And, you know, he's getting to that age now that I think he needs to start having a position that's his, and he's going to master that position. Because at this moment in time, I don't know where Curtis plays. But for Harvey Elliott, for me, he's a central midfielder. And if he never got injured this season, the way he started this season, I think he would have gone strength to strength in that midfield. I really do. And I think you would have seen him rotating with Hendo quite a lot. I think that would have been the rotation there. Harvey Elliott, You know, he's got a great understanding with Salah and Trent on that right-hand side as well when he plays. Look, we got to remember the man's just come back from a horrible, horrible injury. He's a young lad. He's not, as Steve said, he's not going to go into challenges at the moment. He's going to duck out of them a bit because it's all up here, ain't it? Once he sorts that out and realises he's as strong as an ox and he's ready to go, he's going to be superb. And Curtis Jones as well, superb footballer. He's a very good footballer. He's only a kid at the end of the day. But I just want him to master a position because I think if he can master a position in that team, he's going to be an exceptional footballer.
You're talking about mastering a position with all due respect to a manager who at times loves the utility player, loves putting a square peg in a round hole and like molding a man into something that you never really saw. There's plenty of lists of players that are, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna waste our time. So you never know. Like even I think there was a I think someone said it. Apologies, I can't remember the chat's crazy, but I think like Klopp might be trying to mold Curtis into that kind of Bernardinho type of or I think it was Elliot. But do you know what I mean? There's definitely roles that you can tell that I think they're young, they're trying out, and I think when you said that Elliot is more technically gifted, I think he is. I think he may be, but it's not by a long shot. Like Curtis, technically gifted. Like, I think that's probably one of his strong suits is how technical of a player he is. So
yeah, I agree with that.
You know what I mean? With that ability, I just feel like they're young. You're just trying to.
They're both quite interesting because we saw Elliot play on the right side of the wing for Blackburn, and he did a job there. When Jones was coming through the ranks as a schoolboy and as a youth player, he was a left-sided winger for Liverpool. He played on the left side of the front three.
Shout out Pablo.
So there you go. So both of them are transitioning from wide players into centre midfield players, and that's a journey, and that takes some time because there's there's a load of different variables playing in that position than there is using the touchline as your mate when you're playing out wide and squaring up a man 1-to-1 and beating him. I think both of them have got a long way to go to get to be the finished article. But isn't it nice to have two young lads that are making the steps they are and going forward in the right way?
And of course, when you're young as well, when you're a young player, you don't play your position, do you? Because you're developing. That's the way it works. You know, but yeah, like you say, Harvey, they were both wingers, but I do see them both as midfielders. I do like Curtis on that left-hand side of the midfield because he likes floating in them attacking areas. I do like it when he does that. The only thing I would say about Curtis, I think Curtis sometimes plays within himself because he is a cocky player. That's what I like about Curtis. He is a cocky player. He has got a bit of arrogance about him. And sometimes I want him to show that a bit more on the pitch. And I think sometimes he just plays within himself a little bit. And as we all fans know, we know he's got that ability. And I think sometimes before Harvey's injury, I think Harvey did show his side, if that makes sense.
Just to add to that, Harvey definitely did. Because I remember after the 1-1 draw against Chelsea, I think it was our second or third game of the season. I remember after watching that game thinking, I know Harvey, I think 17 at the time. I know he's only 17, but this guy looks ready. That the occasion didn't seem to get to him against Chelsea. That he just seemed so comfortable within that role. Then obviously the unfortunate injury happened. But
right, so Demo said, I watched Jones since he was under 17 straight through. Jones has always been an attacking midfielder with was Premier League 2 player of the season, loads of goals. He's way more technical than Harvey, who needs time. It may be either or, but it's not way more. Let's be honest. Yeah. Either side. Like you're talking about two very young, technically gifted players, and I, do you know what I mean? I hear that. Let's get very, very quickly into the game. Before we get into player ratings, I honestly thought generally we controlled the game quite well. I thought the time that we didn't control the game was probably when we were 2-0 up, which was weird. Do you know what I mean? That's probably when I feel like they probably had a little section of play, and obviously it resulted in a goal for them. But other than that, I don't really think there was much that needed. I felt that I was worried about. My main thing was such a change of first team is that fluidity. Do you know what I mean? Is it going to be fluid? That's why when we were doing a preview and a couple of men were saying 4-0, all of that 5-0. I was like, I just don't know if there's a lot of you're just taking hopefully you're taking a lot of do you know what I mean? First team is out, putting a lot of second string guys in. Is it going to have that balance? To be fair, I thought it really did. I thought it did well. And before we get to the man of the hour, which is obviously our Japanese samurai and that, just thought I'd throw it out there. What was your thoughts on the game as a whole?
It was exactly what I expected. I knew it wouldn't be an emphatic win because, like you said, with so much change to the personnel of the team, I think I even predicted a 2-0 win. I didn't think we would concede, but a bit of lapse in concentration. But yeah, I don't really have, like you saying, I don't have much to add to the. It's literally exactly what I expected. Yeah, that's what I've got to say on it.
No, I hear that. Steve, thoughts?
I agreed with you. We'll be disrupted by so many changes. But I think the squad's in a really great place at the moment, and I think he can come to rely on people coming in and doing the job. I agree with the comments on Oxlade-Chamberlain. I'm a bit worried about him. That was a game for him to say, I'm the man. I'm better than everybody else on this pitch, and I'm going to show you I should be playing with Mo, Verge, Trent, Robbo, and all those guys. No disrespect to the lads I'm on the pitch with now, but I think I'm closer to the first team than these guys. Him and Keita are in a similar position where they're playing for a contract renewal. Right now, I think Keita gets it and Oxlade-Chamberlain doesn't. And that saddens me because I'm a bit of an Ox fan and he's got so much to offer, but he's not delivering.
Can I stop you right there, right? Hold you right there, pin, and I'm going to fire this back at you and I'm going to fire this back at the panel, yeah? Obviously, I'm here to play devil's advocate. There's a lot of what you say that I agree with, yeah? Klopp was in a position to play anyone as goalkeeper. Decided to play Kelleher, and I think, if I'm right, decided to make that decision quite early. And came out and said, other than the fact that he's a great goalkeeper and has done really well for us in the competition, I'm a human being. And, like, do you know what I mean? Cool, you all know the rest. With that sentiment, right? Salah and Mane go away to AFCON, and in their absence, Ox is one of the people that really he steps up, as in the vein that you were talking about, Steve. Surprisingly so. I was like, raw, like, you know what? Ox doing bits, you know, in positions that aren't his favorite positions, you know what I mean? Still stepped up. Go on,
Can I add to that? This is why I kept a lid on it, but when I saw Ox in the midfield three, it would have been more of a surprise to see him do well because he did so well in the on the right side of the front three. You can't drop Taki. Taki probably was always starting, but in my predicted lineup, I had Ox on the right side just because of how well he did in Salah and Mane's absence. So when he was back in this midfield three, I was hoping he would do well, but whenever he's been given an opportunity to play in that midfield three.
Let me finish the point I'm making though, yeah? So obviously, so he does well in that absence, yeah? And in the competition, if I'm right, in the League Cup, he's done quite well. He scored some goals. Do you know what I mean? He's done his thing. So in the same vein, that Klopp would look at Kelleher and be like, I'm being a human in making this decision. When Thiago is Brock, I don't think maybe he has a problem with not being in the starting 11. I don't think any of us had a problem with that. But Thiago gets Brock, and then you bring Harvey Elliott, who ain't even on the flipping subs bench. Like, he wasn't even on the... Like, I'm just trying to play... And I know, like, you're a professional footballer, and you shouldn't really, like, throw your you know what I mean, your toys out the front. But on that same human element that you've used to affect the goalkeeper, did you not think, like, raw? Like, and I feel like he's felt a bit like, whoa, hold on a second. Like, I get the fact that, cool, me and Naby, like you said, Steve, we're fighting. We're on the same. For you to have brought on Naby, which you did, cool, I understand that. But I should have been next on the line. Like, and I can understand where maybe his frustration is. So that's what I wanted to say.
I get that. Sorry, I get that. The situation for me would be that Naby presses really, really well. what Naby is susceptible to is players running off him, and he goes to sleep a little bit from time to time. We saw that away at Madrid in the Champions League last year. Elliot is learning to track back and fill in spaces when we don't have the ball, and he's doing really well at that. The games we've had this season where we've struggled, when we've had Oxlade-Chamberlain and one or two others, not just him, in the middle of the park, and they don't give you control of the game from a centre midfield perspective. Oxlade-Chamberlain is predominantly a right-sided attacking player as opposed to a centre midfielder. There's another one that, to quote your phrase, a square peg in a round hole. I don't think you can control games of football against the likes of Chelsea with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain playing in the middle of the park. I think Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is a guy who should come on and play against teams when you can give him the ball and he can use his attributes, which is running with the ball with pace and power and getting shots off and asking questions of teams that aren't as organised and as clever, and I don't have a system in the same way that Chelsea do. It would have worried me if Ox had started that game purely because I've not seen us control a game of football in the middle of the park when he's played. And that's not a criticism of him. It's horses for courses. Players will play in different games because they have different attributes and they offer different things. It would have worried me if he'd have started against Chelsea because he doesn't do the defensive things in the way that Keita does.
Can I quickly just say one thing as well?
Go on, Eddie, and then Jamie. Go on.
Yeah. I know we're talking about starting the game, and I feel like Ox would have been fine not starting the game, even when Spurs got injured. You would have seen Naby come into the pitch. You would have said, "Okay, cool, I'm gonna come on in the second half, probably." Or if it goes extra time, I'm 100% coming on. But I think the problem is when the match goes on for 120 minutes, and then Harvey Elliott comes onto the pitch. He wasn't in the original team sheet until Thiago got injured. So Ox is thinking, okay, cool. And we're saying Klopp's a human being. Well, Ox is a human being as well. So let's just talk about it from a human being's perspective. He's thinking, I played a part in getting Liverpool to the Carabao Cup final. Harvey Elliott hasn't really played a part. He's younger than me. I've probably done a bit more than him this season. Yeah, I'm definitely coming on. He sees Harvey Elliott warming up. He's thinking, bruh. like that.
But he's not in front of him in terms of what's going on in the manager's mind. No. You talk about Jamie's opening comment on Kelleher was, we're going to struggle to keep him because he's ready to be a number one somewhere else rather than a long-term number two to Alisson. So the drop-off there isn't massive. So you can accommodate that one a little easier than you can by using sentiment to play a player that has got ability. And I'm not knocking. I'm an Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain fan. I am desperate for this guy to pick up the mantle and run with it and show us what he can do. But for me, I think Elliott is in front of him in the manager's mind. He was at the start of the season, and he has been since he came back from injury, and I have to be okay with that because I'm just a guy who chats on YouTube. Jurgen Klopp's the manager, and if he's got Elliott in front of Chamberlain in terms of who should play as a substitute, then I guess I'm okay with that. I do understand your point, Annie. I do get where you're coming from, but
quick question though, just one question then.
Go on.
If he does, and I agree, he probably does see Harvey Elliott as in front of him in the pecking order, then why wasn't Harvey Elliott in the initial? Why wasn't he on the subs bench? Yeah. And like, why wasn't Chamberlain not in the subs?
You'd have to ask Jurgen Klopp that, but yeah, go on.
Can I ask all of you another question? Does this also? I might be jumping the gun here. This is what I thought. I'll ask you lot before I say my piece. But do you think this shows us that Klopp is maybe losing faith in Oxlade?
I think
has better options. He left him on last night for the whole game.
Yeah,
because he wants to see. He's like me, kind of in the way that he wants to see it come good for him. Because we can't keep saying prior to his injury in the Champions League, he was the first name on the team sheet. That was 5 years ago.
Exactly.
So you can't keep going back to that and saying we want to see pre-knee injury Ox because that might never happen. But he keeps giving him the opportunity. But that's Norwich. That's not Chelsea. And Norwich's midfield setup is very different to Chelsea's. Chelsea's game in midfield is about controlling you and doing what they want to do and being defensively pragmatic. And I just don't think that tactic suits Oxlade-Chamberlain. And I'll always say, and it's something I keep saying, it's horses for courses. And I can't answer your question as to why he came from the sort of obscurity into the team and then onto the pitch. I don't know whether he was managing his time on the pitch, but I worry for Oxlade-Chamberlain, and I don't want to because I think he's a great player, and I really wanted to see him flourish at Liverpool, and he has many things to offer. But right now, is he sulking a little bit? That's the question you have to ask. He stepped up. He stepped up while the lads are away at AFCON, and the second they come walking back through the door, we've got round shoulders and a why me attitude, and maybe we don't need to see that from him.
And Steve, he wasn't too involved in the celebrations as well. Sorry.
No, he wasn't.
I was Drifty was at me. Drifty was messaging me like, brother, look at him. I was trying to, you know, when you're trying to talk to someone and you think, actually, you know what? Like, you might be right. Like, and I think,
Thing is though, yeah. If I ask all of you if we have to get rid of one midfielder in the summer, I'm pretty much like, as much as it might be a difficult decision, and if you've got to like factor in the future,
no, ish. Let's do that. One midfielder we got to get rid of. Let's go.
It probably will be Ox, to be fair. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, Ox.
Jamie.
Yeah, Oxlade-Chamberlain, because Naby's got more market value. That's why you give him a new contract. Simple.
See.
Regretfully, it's very close, but I'd probably let Ox leave.
Wait, any midfielder?
Not like Tyler Morton or like just like
like an actual.
Yeah, it would be us. It would be because I had someone else.
If you remember Tyler Morton, then that says it all. I know you're trying to not say what you're
trying to sidestep the question.
It's just that's a player, and I know this is gonna upset a lot of Liverpool fans. I just can't. Yeah,
this is why, like, certain times, like I say with my daughter, like, you know, like when she's been naughty, and then like, I mean, in the goodness of my heart, be like, oh, do you want something? And you're now trying to be like, give me attitude. Like, it don't make no sense. It's like, Ox, like, know your place in the squad for you to then be giving up this type of, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you're quite easily dispensable. So it's like, be easy, bro. You know, like that. You don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't. I don't want to see it full stop, but at least from you, bro. At least from someone.
Can I just say something on that Ox debate? With the Ox, as Steve said, I love the Ox when he came into the club, and you know, I think he had 11 or 12 goals that season for his knee injury. And he was excellent for us. Personally, I think the club's evolved past the Ox, so that's what I think. That while he's been out injured all this time, keeps getting these little injuries. I think the midfield's evolved, and it's not the same midfield that's when he joined the club. And I think and when I look at why he doesn't start more, I think against Norwich shows you his reading of the game in midfield defensively is not there. He let Rupp run past him yesterday, didn't follow him, and he's part of the reason he scored that goal. He didn't follow his midfielder. You go back and look at it, he let Rupp just walk right past him, no problem, didn't chase back. And I think that's why he didn't come on against Chelsea. They have far better midfielders, and he trusted Harvey Elliott to do that job a lot more. So I just think with Ox
was poor against Norwich like the week before as well. This is twice. I think the club's just evolved. I think the club's just evolved over Ox, and it's sad. It's sad.
Jamie,
I like him.
Can I just add to that and say why you're spot on? Because at the time we signed Ox, he was supposed to be that midfielder to take us to the next level. But now, in his absence and his injuries over the past 2-3 years, we went to that next level without him winning the Champions League, winning the Prem. So what you're saying is spot on. We've evolved without him. Now he's not.
It was like Genie and Milner as our main midfielders. So he was the one. He was like the one who was a bit unorthodox one. Now our unorthodox midfielders like Thiago. Like, you can see how the level just jumped in the last 4 or 5 years.
Literally.
And we've been waiting for him to kind of get back to. And in my head, 17, 18 sometimes still feels like 2-3 seasons ago. But I think Jamie's.
But it's really not. Yeah.
Like, it's 5. We've had about 4 kits since then. Like, we're not getting that back. Like,
how much did we pay for it? It was 40. It was 40, wasn't it?
We've got our money's worth. You can't not say we've got our money's worth. You can't not say that, innit? Like,
just beating Man City in the Champions League with his goals.
Yeah, and even, like, I brought up the comment. I'll go back to it because I think it was Psychedelic Scientist, my G. Hope you're well. When Ox is on form, he's one of our best midfielders. He contributes goals and assists. Remember, before his big injury in the Champions League run, he was arguably our best player. Like, do you know what I mean? There is definitely a player there. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but moving on nicely that was a nice little segue from a player who has maybe momentarily thrown his toys out of the pram to another player who could have been arguably could have been in the starting lineup for his exploits in the cup. Wasn't. Said, all right, I see you. Don't worry, it's calm. Let me just sit on the sideline and sharpen up my samurai and that. And you know what I mean? Like, came in. Before I do, we talk about this guy. There's a guy.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of my chat.
Demo's getting excited. Demo's getting excited.
Yo, he's in my chat. He's active in the Liverpool community. You know, big man like Demo, Dre, and that. Hey, Demo, drop your YouTube channel as well, because he's doing big things. Yeah, doing big things as well. His channel's actually doing really, really big things. So I want to give him the respect. But see me, I give flowers where flowers are due, innit? Shout out the man. When man says free up the samurai, yeah, he's been shouting this from Wade. Like I said, Demo, what part Japanese are you? What's going on? Like, is your mom like, he's like, nah, but I just see this guy is the truth. I said, all right. To the point where I was like, this guy is smoking some serious herbs.
So, yeah.
Times when I was
Say, when he scored his first goal, who's the first person I thought of?
Bro,
I said Demo's gonna be gassed.
Bro, Demo, I'm not gonna talk about this guy without giving you your flowers, man. Demo Dre, you like seriously, we got this guy for 7 mil, and he's really showing he's really showing why he's that guy in it. And 9 goals, 1 assist, come outside, continue, you know. Hey, man, this is the type of energy I was getting before he hit form. I was like, Demo, I need some of that. Whatever it is you're smoking, I beg you, get it from customs from man. Like, and now I'm like, yo, you're really that guy. Like, you know, the ones there. Like, and also it goes to show, like, it just goes to show the type of mentality. All jokes aside, though, like I said, like he had arguably every right to have been in that starting lineup. To have even shown, he's one of them people that never saw the pitch in 120 minutes, bro. Like, and came on, and Taki in that first half, outrageous. Him and Jones, it was outrageous. And yeah, man, I have to give him his flowers, because like I've been some of the people that have said that I didn't know if he was good enough, and do you know what I mean? And you know, I've corned him. But yeah, man, let me pass it over to certain man and
Taki. I love this player. I think he's a very good player. You know, he's just starting to settle now. Maybe he's just starting to settle, because you know everything must be difficult for him. He doesn't see that shy, timid player anymore either, does he?
Nah,
I was watching him last night. Yeah,
I'm not going to use the analogy I use.
He doesn't look shy.
We're on YouTube, guys, but like, yo, he just looks like his chest is out.
Yeah, and he's stronger. He looks stronger. Yeah. You know, he weren't falling away from the place against Norwich. Norwich players are actually bouncing off him a little bit. I was like, whoa, you've been on some.
And that was one of our main things.
Yeah, that's one of the things
Yeah. Curtis Jones holds on to the ball too much. Taki gets weights off the ball too much. It's one of those things.
He's been in the gym.
Gravity. I'll tell you what Taki does good though. Taki stays still in the box. That's an art. You know how it is to stay still in the box, because you want to move all the time, constantly, don't you? Yeah. But to stay still in the box is actually a skill, and it's no. You know, both times stayed still in the box, unmarked, beautiful finishes.
Jamie, I think you're spot on, you know, because I read somewhere, that Taki, he thinks his best position. Where do you think his best position? Where do you think he thinks his best position is?
Striker.
Yeah. I was like,
for Salzburg, he played like not even. He was like pretty much just off the front man. That's kind of
that's what I thought. But he's like, no, I like being the striker, like, and I'm like, okay, because when he comes on, especially earlier in his Liverpool career, I felt like he was too busy. He was too all over the place. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you muddy the work that you and others are doing because you're just all over the place. But when I actually started to see him as much as he'd be busy, Jamie's spot on. In the box, though, he's calculated. You know them ones there, and has always been really, when you deep it, like, I'm like, actually, it's true. Just, you don't really get a chance to play, obviously, up front, do you know what I'm saying? But, like, if you look at his cup runs and that, bro, he's really, like, he's a very calculated, like, knows what he's doing. He's not as busy in the box as he is outside. You know what I mean? He knows what he's doing, and like, now I've got to give up.
Sorry, Rob.
Sorry, James. You can't coach that. Like, that's natural. That's natural instinct. You can't coach that. Yeah, go on, Jamie.
I was just saying that we were talking about Ox earlier, not taking his chance, being disappointed, not playing. Look at Taki. Taki got us to the League Cup final. He was one of the reasons we got to the League Cup final. Fringe players like Taki Minamino banging in 9 goals this season, I think needs to be spoke about more. You need them sort of players if you want to win multiple trophies in the season. 100%. And he didn't even play on Sunday, and he was one of the reasons that got us there. Then plays against Norwich and puts in 2 goals and puts in a man of match performance. That's why Klopp's keeping him around, guys. That's why Klopp's keeping him around.
You know what? I want to personally apologize to him. And I actually want to say to him, I'm sorry, because I wrote him off completely. I'll hold my hands up. I wrote him off completely. And I even read an article where he's like, I kind of know my place, but I love the club, so I'm going to continue to fight for the badge. And that's the kind of mentality you want in your squad. But I feel so bad. I just want to say sorry to him, man.
Even when man was going to pop the champers, and man is like, I beg you, Lau. He's like, no, don't worry. I'm warming to him as a person, you know, like that. Like, I really
love when Hendo grabbed him to get the trophy to like have his little moment.
Yeah. How different now though? There's like, I love seeing that in our team, like that difference in like that guy that didn't really want to get involved in the celebration because he, you know, what I mean?
Come, you helped us get this.
I love that. Just before we get on to player ratings, let me just go through some of the comments that are building up. Love everyone inside, man. The comments are going mad still. Taki looked very comfortable. Right wing class finish. Trust me. Yeah, Demo, we know, man. He was one of the first on the Nat hype as well. Trust me. Hey, my dog, psychedelic scientist, swear down, yeah, okay. Man says I'm part Japanese, to be honest. A 16th Japanese apparently. So a 16th Japanese, you know, I like that. Is that what it is? Yeah, we're breaking it down like that. So I'm a bit biased. Still, we should back our players, especially when they're consistently scoring important goals for us.
That's 116.
Man, I know that he used to have shouts of like maybe we bought him for his commercial aspects in terms of like, do you know what I mean, the Asian sales and all of that, and you know what I'm saying, like, bro, I've heard it all, so definitely big up, yeah, man. Hear that? Hey, my dog, make sure you man are running up the subs on a Big Six Bands. My guy Monts, man. Hope you're good, man.
Yeah, man, big up.
Hey, my people, come on. 11 subs till 700. Run it up, people, please, man. Love, and make sure you're going over there and hitting hitting us up for him as well, man. Psychedelic Science says he would be a good striker. His positioning, dribbling, and finishing is quality. He is. I'm not gonna lie. Like, to be fair, and I feel like he's making more of a I feel like if someone would have said that, all right, Demo. If Demo would have said that before, we'd all laugh at him. Do you know what I mean? And now he's making more of a thing where it's like, right, you know what? Actually, you might be right. You know, like there's certain things where.
I've got one for you. Do you think Taki and Jota are quite similar?
Jamie, I was going to ask that same question because
there you go.
I was going to ask, do you think Taki could do the same job as a Jota? Because
I actually
you know what now you've asked, I see
all I need to see personally is, because this is one thing that I rate Jota for, bro. Like, I was with Conroy, yeah, and I'm 6'5", yeah, and Conroy is like 5'10", and Conroy's like, I'm exactly the same height as Jota, and I had to look at him and I said, huh? What's going on here? How are you getting up?
Jumping centre backs for fun,
brother.
So the fact he's so good airily,
because the way in which we play, and like that's the only thing. And if Taki can be as maybe as good, or do you know what I mean? Then yeah, why not? Because I'm telling you, Steve, what's your thoughts on that?
They're very different, I think. You got to look at who they play against. You know, he scores 2 good goals last night against the Norwich side that is in the habit of losing games, and certainly the second goal, their heads had gone down. They went closing us down particularly quickly. I think you can. I'm not knocking him. I think you can assess Taki better against higher level of opposition. Unfortunately, we're not giving him the chance to show us that at the moment because he's not in the front three. The front five. So Salah, Mane, Jota, Diaz, and Bobby. He's behind all of those, and he's never going to get in front of those guys. And to some extent, early on the season, he would have been behind Oxlade-Chamberlain, who would have played on the right. Difficult for him. I'm made up for him. I think yesterday was doing the world of good, and I love that thing they did. You guys have already spoken about it, where they threw the trophy in his hand and said, "Go and celebrate with the fans because you got us there." And you see Henderson and Van Dijk and Fabinho in the background giving it all that. Come on, make some noise for Taki. He hasn't had it easy at Liverpool. We bought him because he played in the hole behind the forward against us, and we were all in the dressing room going, "Wow, this guy, we can't get to grips with him." Brought him into the club, and then like the games against the likes of Crystal Palace and stuff, I'm watching his movements, and I'm thinking, "Where's he running to?" Because we're not going to give him the ball there. And then we send him on loan to Southampton to understand the Premier League a bit better, and he's turning it round, and he's a valuable member of the squad. When Klopp took over, Daniel Sturridge ended up being the leading scorer that season with 15 goals, and then the next one was 13, and then the next one was 11. Well, his Taki's got 9 already, playing as a 5th choice, maybe even a 6th choice centre forward. So he's got a place in the squad. He deserves a place in the squad. He is behind all the other guys, and he will find it difficult to usurp them. But you don't know what his expectations are, Saints. He may have come to the club going, right, I can sit in the middle of a distant European league with the side I'm in now, and that's pretty much what my career is going to be. Or I can go to Liverpool and challenge for the Champions League and challenge for the biggest prizes in the biggest league in the world, and be okay with not playing every game, because Manchester City and Chelsea are making this a squad game now, rather than 11 players and 1 or 2 subs. You need 20 guys who are at it every season, and do you know what? Taki fits into that really well. So I was made up for him last night. Felt a bit harsh on him at the weekend because he didn't play. But I bet we walked into training this morning feeling about 7 foot tall because he had a really good night last night, and I was made up for him.
Definitely, and I think you're right. Like, I think you're right, Steve, when you say that. In terms of, like, I feel like we now have a squad. Do you know what I mean? That we can now actually use, and we need guys who are ready to come off that bench and perform. And he is one of those guys. We've used him for the domestic cup games, and he's performed. You can only perform against the opposition in which you're put in front of, and he's doing that consistently. So, but Marque does say something. That he said something. I saved this comment because I was like, you know what, you're right. I would like to see that more. Jota can't occupy a defense. Minamino doesn't. Jota can occupy a defense. Sorry, Minamino doesn't have that yet. I would agree with that to some extent. As well as the aerial thing. And so I think that goes back to what Steve said, that they're 2 different players. Minamino seems like Origi, happy to be a squad player. And Rabi says he agrees with Steve.
Can I just add to that?
Yeah.
When you, similar to City, when you have a winning culture as well, of course you want to play as a fringe player, but when you've got a winning culture and you're winning things, you're not as eager to get out the club because you kind of know, cool, I'm not playing as much, but we're winning things. I'm happy. The morale's high. I'm in a happy environment. So that's another thing why.
And I think players this day and age know their role in clubs, in squads as well. I think they know, right, there's 11 players there who'll go play every week. But if I hang about and do my job, I'm going to do important bits for the club. And I think players now understand more of their roles in playing for big squads like Taki does.
There's an incentive as well. Like, look at Taki's. He bagged he's back 4 or 5 goals in the League Cup alone. That's taken us to the final. Or helped us get to the final. Done the same in the FA Cup. So there's going to be game time. Like he's probably looking at it like, do I want to play for let's use Norwich as an example. I'll play 40 games a season, but I'm playing without the ball. I'm playing against teams where I'm going to get smashed most weeks. Or do I want to play half that games for Liverpool, who's going to be winning stuff, like Jamie said, winning culture around the club as well. personally, if I know I'm going to be winning like trophies at the end of the season, I can take not having as much game time if I know I'm going to be part of something special rather than playing every week. You clapped up 4-5-0. Like I don't know. Taki's in a good position. I think he's really cemented himself as like a solid like squad player. I think
he's ahead of Origi. He's ahead of Origi now as well in the pecking order.
Again, it depends because I feel like he's a different player, and like Origi should be coming on for that central striker role. Do you know what I mean? Where we're looking to change up the system and look for the target.
He had a chance. He had a big chance last night, Origi, to.
We'll get. You know what?
We'll get onto that.
This is a good segment. We're literally last segment out here. Let's go to the player ratings, man. And there's quite a few of us, so this will get a bit stale. All right. I would have put Kelleher in goal. And Klopp said, "You don't know what you're talking about. Shut him out." So yeah, and he had. I don't really think he had much to do. I don't know. Some people are saying for his that. What's his name? My man saying
Roy. There's a guy who broke down the left-hand side and pushed away.
Because you know, you need to add more context to that. It was 2-1 at the time. If they scored that, what a save! What a save! Exactly.
Yeah, you know what? Like just for that, man, to give him. I was gonna say like an 8.5. Seems all right. And that was only because of lack of real. Other than that, they couldn't really think of a lot of other chances.
His kicking was better as well. Last couple of weeks has been a bit. He's been doing a couple of odd things, but it was. As long as he doesn't give me a hard time, I'm cool with it. And he pulled off that save as well. So yeah, I think 8.5. I couldn't even hear it 9.
I know. I was thinking, is a 9 too much? But there are. I'll go for 8.5.
Yes, I'll say keep it 8.5 because I don't know about you. Like, I feel like he was obstructed, but his positioning for the goal could have been a bit better. I don't know. I might be in a bit too hard.
I don't blame him for the goal at all, but we'll get onto it. I don't blame him for the goal at all.
No, I
Tweedledum in front of him. But.
We'll get onto that.
8.5 for Ali. I mean, when you're 2-1 up and you've had nothing to do all game and you produce that kind of save, that's what great goalkeepers do. Great goalkeepers. It's very easy to look at goalkeepers that are busy all the time and think they're superstars. I remember Mignolet at Sunderland. He was busy all the time and he looked fantastic. Comes to Liverpool when he don't have as much to do and he looks a crop. You know, that's the thing. You know, Ali didn't have nothing to do much all game and he produces a save like that when we're 2-1 up. You know, with not long left. That's what a great goalkeeper does. So yeah, 8.5 easy. Yeah,
he gets a 7.5 for me. Because if he concedes that goal, all 6 of us here are spitting flames because you would expect your goalkeeper to save that. It was a good save, don't get me wrong, and the concentration's really good, but professional goalkeepers shouldn't be getting beaten from there. So he didn't have much to do. Obviously, they scored. 7.5 is a good score when you don't have much to do, in my opinion.
And that's I think Steve's right, to be fair, in terms of that's why I didn't want to give it 2 high. I think he didn't have much to do other than that. Staying concentrated is cool, but the levels in where we all hold Alisson, I guess that's a prerequisite, really, isn't it? Let's be honest. All right, I told you he comes with the leveler, and then you're like, so I'm gonna make it 8. You see what I'm saying?
I can hear it.
We go down to 8, yeah.
But I can hear it 8. I'm cool with it.
Yo, what'd you say, bro?
I said, what are you telling me? I said, this guy coming to level up. We was all talking 8.5.
Yeah, no, I agree, though. I agree, to be fair, though. I said, I didn't even say anything, but I would have went with 7.5.
What's your, you get the final say in it. What you say?
No, I would have went with 7.5 for the same reasons, because he didn't really have much to do, so I can't really give him like an 8 or a 9, innit? Like, he made that one brilliant save, but apart from that, he didn't have much to do, so 7.5 is about right.
All right.
For me, yeah.
I'm going to go, all right. We're going to go 8 in it. So we'll meet. You had 8.5.
You just said, Eddie, it's up to you, Eddie. Eddie, it's up to you. Eddie says 7.5. You go. We're going to go with 8, bro.
Ali, bro. Well, you know what it is? In that, we played so well for 80% of that game, and that 20% looked quite shocking. Like, and when that goal goes in, it looks shocking enough for me to feel like, well, I don't know if we have enough to then. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and so I do put a lot of onus onto that save, staying aware. Like, and
imagine we had to play 120 minutes again before West Ham this weekend. Like, all I was thinking yesterday is I do not want to see this game go to extra time. Like, I cannot see that happen. Like,
you know what I mean? And it's and again after that, I felt like that woke us up. So we were like, yo, let's again. And you know what I'm saying? We'll leave it. I hear what you lot are saying. Leave it. No. I thought I had a blind on the right hand side. To be very honest with you, I'm gonna do it the other way. I'm gonna start with Steve this time. I personally thought he had a blinder, man. I thought he had a really good game. What was your thoughts?
He did have a good game. He sorted out, what's the little quick guy's name? Rashika. He sorted him out with a heavy challenge really early on in the game. And then he didn't feature for the rest of the game. I thought he would, if you're a Norwich fan, you'd be disappointed. So he didn't have much coming down his side. He was able to get forward and get involved in the game. He was effective. He didn't do anything wrong. I'd probably give him a similar score to Alisson because there were other players on the pitch that will get a higher rating than him. They didn't threaten him at all. We never got to find out how he would deal with Rashika's pace because he just didn't fancy it after the heavy challenge early on, which coincidentally was made by Milner. So it's a bit of an owl-ass shithouse type thing to do that, wasn't it, really? You know, just land one on him and make him think about him. So I think it was good. I don't think we didn't win the game because of him, and we didn't lose the goal because of him. So, 7.5 is a decent score for that performance for me. So I'll probably go around 7.5 for him.
Anyone got anything?
7. Yeah, I'll go around 7.5. I think you saw last night is why Jurgen Klopp wants to give him another year. Yeah, I think what you saw last night is really he's 36 years old playing out of position, and Rashika is a good young player, young, fit, quick player. Didn't stand a chance, and that is why I think Klopp wants to keep him around for another year for that experience alone. And 7 as a
that experience is what Steve's talking about, isn't it? Like sitting there thinking, all right, I could go toe to toe with you all night. Let's see what you're made of, innit? Let me stick one on you and see if you're bowing in. Like, them ones there. That's where that experience that quieted him up. Right, that's cool. I can go about my business now. Like, them ones there, like, you're not gonna know that from a. Do you know what I mean? So definitely, man. I agree. All right, so 7? Is that too low? 7?
7 sounds right, man.
7 sounds right. 7 sounds good.
Right. Let's go. I'll do the fullbacks and then we'll do the centre back. Tsimikas.
Ooh, quality player, man.
Good for another
8 out of 10. 8 out of 10, I'd say.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I agree with that. I thought he is really good at it. Like, he's really good for our backup centre left back, bro. Like, bro, he is really good. Like, and like even like I was saying in terms of like buying into these man's characters, I seen what he was like and on.
Yeah.
Like, you're about it, like like that. Me and you can hang out.
All of that.
Yeah, I like that. He's controlled that left side and put in some really good balls. I thought he actually was very worked well. Ish, what was your thoughts?
Bro, Rums, you all know how I feel about certain man's corners sometimes. Like, as good as Robbo is, best left back in the world, the corners are often shocking, innit? Like, every corner last night from Tsimikas was causing problems. I'm pretty sure one of the goals definitely came from a corner from that side. It might have been the other one as well. And then going forward, he just offers Listen, I want to big up Drifty as well because I see him on the Don Robbie show the other day saying how Tsimikas will probably start for every team in the league, and he was getting called. But if you actually check the levels, if you go through every team in the league's left backs, bar I say Cancelo from City, Tsimikas is in with a shout. He's in with a very decent shout of starting ahead of him, and he's our second choice left back. Like, well, I don't know who from the scouting team went and got Tsimikas out because I know he played for Olympiacos before. One of the best signings we've made in terms of like value for money as well for a very, very, very long time. Like true.
Do you know what? Do you know what I like about him? We paid 14 million quid for him, right? And he's come into the club knowing full well what Klopp thinks about Robertson, and he's going, do you know what? I'm going to have his shirt off him at some point. I didn't come up here to make up the numbers. And if you send him to City, Cancelo plays right back and Kyle Walker watches.
Yeah.
So that for me is exactly, he is the second best left back in the Premier League. We just happen to have both of them, which is pretty cool, isn't it?
Do you know what's crazy as well? Our two left backs cost a combination of 22 million.
22 million couldn't buy you one again.
That's just 22 million. 22 million for two left backs. Quality. Simicast is fantastic, and that's that drop. You know, when Robbo don't play, Simicast comes in. There's hardly any drop. And that's what.
And he's really, really cool with the squad. I mean, you guys would have seen the video of him goading the fans with the trophy 3 times when he kept running back and jumping up in the air and then dancing around the trophy in the changing room. You know, why is it all left backs are absolute nutters, but they are, aren't they?
I will say one thing about him. The man looks like he misses that Greek sun, though. That man.
yeah. He looks like he's just come off train spotting or something, doesn't he? He looks like a baghead that needs a good sleep.
I know, trust me. I'm cool with 8-4 for Simic. I thought it was really good, man. Ibu.
6.
I was literally gonna say that. I was gonna just shake my mouth and say I thought it was about a 6 performance, which isn't a bad performance, but I don't think.
But cool. If we're giving Ibu a 6,
you
have to consider what we're giving Gomez then, because I probably would have given Ibu probably a 6.5.
Oh, Gomez barely rates.
I would have gone 5.5.
No, I would have given. I'm more.
I thought actually for Gomez.
I thought
he definitely wasn't poorer than the other one.
I thought the other one was better than him. I can't even front. Apart from the goal, which obviously like a big.
Gomez was better than Ibu.
I actually thought Gomez played well last night. The goal was just really unfortunate.
I'm not even. It's not even just because of the goal.
Remember that pass as well. That crossfield pass at the back. That man tried to. I said, "Who do you think you are? You're not Van Dijk, big man. What's going on?" No. I don't think he had a bad game. No. I honestly, me personally, I thought.
I realized that combo together can't run.
No, it don't work.
They need either Matip or Van Dijk next to them. That is not a good combo together.
Yeah, and it's just. I think it would. I think it could work. I just think in terms of how long Gomez has been out. You're right. Now they need someone to marshal them, but in time it could work, bro. I actually do think that it could work.
Does anyone actually worry about Joe Gomez's future?
Yeah, because he needs 8 or 9 games. To get back where he
was, I don't see him getting them games. No. That's the problem.
I'd send him on loan next year.
If Klopp is going to make a substitution or a replacement at centre back in the big game, it's Kanate. That's what he was bought for, and I don't see how Gomez gets his rhythm back to play enough games to get his rhythm back. And that's my concern about Gomez at the moment. This is nothing about him as a footballer because he's a tremendous footballer and a great centre-back. And when fit, before all the injuries, he was doing bits. But I just don't see where he's going to play 8, 9, 10 games under Klopp at this moment in time when Kanate's there. And I think that's my worry for Gomez. That's just my worry.
I'd send him on loan next year. I'd be 100% happy if he just said, "Listen, Aston Villa, just go there for a year."
Oh, yeah, because
not alone to buy it, where like you're definitely coming back. Because I think we need to look. Obviously, we're in a great moment right now. Matip in the form of his life, Van Dijk's back to his best. Kanate has been a great signing, but in the next 2 years, we don't know what Matip's going to be saying injury wise. Van Dijk, he's going to be 33, 34. I think selling a centre back of Joe Gomez's quality now would just be mad.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll loan him. I don't think they'll loan him because we need 4. And I would imagine if Bournemouth come up, they'll try and sign that Phillips if they come up. And then you're left looking at Reece Williams, who, do you know what? That kid couldn't believe his luck playing in the quarterfinal of the Champions League. And then in the last 10 games, You know, you look at our central defensive partnership. They've no right to deliver 28 out of 30 points.
Yeah, I don't even want to
at the
think
back
about. I
end
don't want
of
to
the
look back at
season.
that last season. You know,
That's the peak of his career. And if you break it down and look at it, you can't find yourself in a position where you have to turn to Reece Williams. So I don't see Gomez going anywhere.
No.
He needs a pre-season, a proper full pre-season. That knee injury he had, apart from breaking your thigh bone, is the second worst thing you can do to your leg. Is the second way. Basically, if you folded the skin back, you could have taken his kneecap off. That's how bad that was. So that's horrendous, a horrendous injury, and it takes time, and that's testament to how mentally strong Van Dijk is, because they both had career-threatening injuries, and Van Dijk's just said, "So what? Bring it. I don't care." But
yeah, but he's not human. That's the problem.
But I've had a serious knee. When I used to play football, I ruptured my knee ligaments. And someone said to me, the first time you kick a football, you'll think you've done it again because your body will go into shock. And it's getting over that psychological hump and going to ground in a thunderous challenge and looking at your knee and going, shit, it's still there. So I can do that again. And growing in confidence. And Jamie, you're right. It's not about Gomez, the footballer. It's about getting him the games, and he's not getting in. He's fourth choice, and he's not going to get in front of those three this season.
Yeah, and it's mad. It's mad. He was statistically one of the best in the best partnerships at a time when we won the Premier League. So it's crazy that fall can be a bit, but hopefully he gets there. But again, I thought he was the worst of the two.
Yeah,
I thought he was all right. You know,
he didn't close down the shot, did he? I mean. That you can't do that. You got.
I think you're being harsh. I think what you need to do there is kudos to the Norwich guy, because
it was a great goal.
That ball's in the net before Alisson moves. That's a belter.
And when I was saying that,
just to jump in, what did you give? What did you give?
We haven't yet. We're still debating it. I wasn't even saying that for the goal. I was just more saying that in terms of kind of overall, and you know what I mean. And like, I just thought, like, you don't always have to concede a goal in order for it to, do you know what I mean, for you to have not had a great performance. You know what I'm saying? And I just thought, I would be happy to see the max, I don't know, 6 for both. But in my eyes, if you ask me, I thought Ibu was better. It's like, I would have gone 6 for Ibu.
I think 6 for both is fair.
6 for both. I'm happy with that. Right. But I mean, is anyone talking anything? Is anyone anything?
I can settle for a 6 for both, but agreeing with Saint, I thought Ibu was the better out of the two.
Yeah, you had to say Ibu was the better, I'd say, but not by considerable.
Yeah, amount. It wasn't by. We'll
say 6.
If I was a forward player, who would you rather play up against, Gomez or Konate?
Gomez.
Gomez. Konate's just.
Because Konate will beat you up if you can't beat him.
Yeah, and you see that player, you can't get round him. You can't get round him. The man's an American fridge. He's huge
and can move. It's like, it's not just one of them like immobile dons. The guy, you do turn around and the guy's in your shadow. What the hell is going on here? Do you see when man stood at the 6-yard line and ushered the ball out?
Yeah, are you taking him out, bro?
Are you taking the piss, bro? What are you doing right now? Bro, the ball is rolling, rolling. Man said, I got this. I said, rotted.
36 million bargain.
Yeah, crazy. So I'd give him a 6. All right, cool. Hendo.
He's good.
Great in the 6. Great in the 6.
Good.
We've been singing his praises all season. Him in that 6.
You know what? Yeah, sometimes you don't know what you. Shout out Janet Jackson and that. You know them ones that old school and that. Don't know what you got until it's gone. You know. Like real talk, you know, like when he left, flipping out, bro. Like, so okay, can we do a double sum and bring him back on? Because the way our midfield just didn't really look the same. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I said, oh, Morton, man, it's unfortunate that you know what I mean, that you had to follow him, like, because I wouldn't have necessarily thought it was an amazing. I thought he's doing well, but then when he came, I thought, nah, he was doing really
well,
The control that
again, you got to look at who we're playing against. They offered very little, and they actually grew into the game when he went off, when Henderson went off.
Yeah, I agree.
Is he the dynamic number 8 that we've seen in recent years? Maybe not so much. He had a terrible injury last year, really bad. Not enough was said about that. this season for me. At times, he's been looking for a bit of form and he's been looking for a bit of fitness. A couple of cameo substitutions in recent weeks where he's looked himself. Brilliant in the 6 against Manchester United in the 5-0.
Yeah.
Brilliant in the 6 last night. And this sounds mad, but it's true. In both of those games, the midfield he was up against was absolutely diabolical. So no one's asking any questions of him, Man United or Norwich. You may find for the rest of his career, he doesn't play as many games as he has been, but when he does play, he's a guy who's more than amply good enough to cover Fabinho when he needs a rest in the 6.
Yeah, totally.
100%.
Total. I mean, he's he just put in a professional performance last night. It was nothing outstanding. It was nothing great. It was just a solid professional performance from a solid professional performer. And I just get irritated when I hear Henderson getting slagged off all the time because I don't get it. I don't get it. He's a great captain and leader for our club, and he's Jurgen Klopp on the pitch. That's what he is. He's Jurgen Klopp on the pitch, and yeah, I thought last night he just put in, as Steve said, the midfield he's playing against weren't great, but they got better when he went off. So it just shows his professiononalism.
7.5.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah,
spot on.
I prefer when he stayed. It was only half.
No lower than the 7.5 because when he's on the pitch, he's organising it and he's bossing it. And like you say, the key point is when he goes off, we lose that. Well, we lose that control. The final bit of control we had after we lost Jones was resting on Henderson's shoulders, and when he went off, we lost the plot for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
definitely. And Hendo let Curtis Jones play as well. That's a big thing as well. Hendo's sitting there. Curtis knows he's safe. He can go and do his bit with Hendo in. That's what also brings you.
You mentioned him, so let's talk about him. Man like Curtis.
8.5 all day long, mate.
I thought he was excellent. I thought he was excellent yesterday.
He was bossing it first.
Him and Taki, I thought were excellent yesterday. I thought,
there was one time when it was just him and Hendo were just passing it to each other, just really like in the game, just like feeling it. Like I was like, this is my guy. Yeah, man, I wouldn't even mind hearing 9, but I mean, he only had a half. He only had a half in it. So, what we said, 8.5?
8.5, yeah, man. He shaved the crossbar as well, man. That shot he took in the first.
That was like the goal against Everton in the FA Cup, wasn't it? The season's back. Same sort of, great Billy, great player.
Yeah, like I thought, Psychedelic Sign is saying 9 for Jones. I could hear 9, like I said, I could hear 9. I would go in a half just because he only had the half. I think he could easily have a 9 performance had he had the full game. Okay, Harvey, innit?
No, Harvey didn't start.
He didn't start. Sorry, he started.
Ox.
Bro, listen, that speaks volumes. That speaks. Say no more.
I wasn't even. That wasn't even planned, brother. Like Ishmael knows me. He knows me. Knows I wasn't even planned.
Oh, yeah, Robert, I see you put the 5 up. Yeah, take 1 off. Yeah, take 1 off.
We're going. Whoa.
Like
5
really bad, bro. That pretty much says that.
Really
5 being average, right? 5 being average, right?
Yeah, 5.
I would keep it. I think
below average.
I would.
He wasn't below average.
I personally, I think, I personally would give him a 4.5 just because of the incident.
Let me ask you a question. In comparison, was he as poor because we talked about Gomez not being great and Canate not having great games? In his position, was his performance comparable with those guys? Because I don't think he did a lot wrong. He didn't do too much spectacularly well, but I don't think he did much wrong.
And that's why I'm giving him average, because he didn't, literally what you said, Steve, he wasn't great, but he didn't do anything that made me think, what, cool, he lost the ball a few times, but I don't think he was below average. I just think he was average. That's why I'm giving him that back.
Why I'm giving him 4.5 is I think exactly everything you said. But if he had a tacky mindset, I feel like we would have got. Do you know what I mean? Like it would have just. I feel like I'm giving him a half less because, brother, you didn't have a great game, and on top of that, you want to fucking salt. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Like, this is like Steve said, bro. It's you and Naby. Like, this is your chance, bro. Like, this is your chance. How much times have we needed you last season, but you were Brock. How much times?
Yeah.
Like, and then you.
I
Like,
didn't really notice. I just didn't really know. That's the worst thing I can say about Ox. I didn't really notice him that much.
I feel like not in a way, not in a nabby in a Sunday way where he was just going about his business.
Right, yeah, exactly.
In an anonymous way. Yeah.
He didn't look interested. He didn't look interested. In my opinion.
This is why I'm like, I can't. If you're on it and you just on the get calm, but you can't then on top of that not look interested, bro. Like you can't look like.
But the thing is, though, he did have a good couple of moments. He hit the post as well. He did have a few moments where, like,
maybe
the near post. This is what I mean. Say normally you change my mind. You have to.
But then Ox
Ox
fell asleep at the goal for me. Ox fell asleep at the goal. You know, he let the player run off him far too easy, and
I agree. Yeah. Annie, you just reminded me. He nearly scored. I'm staying at a 5. You nearly swayed me. I'm staying at a 5.
Hey, man, shout out to Coppish as well, because apparently, Ox has got a newborn in it, so maybe that's part of the reason he's been playing
late nights and that.
No, you know, recently you had a newborn in that.
Harry, I know.
Oh yeah, but it's not newborn, bro. I'm not having that. That was last year, bro. The baby's like, nah, last year? No, bro. That was last year, bro.
No excuses.
Oh man, the man's minted. He's got nurses, man. He ain't getting up in the night.
I give him a 5. Right, before we get on to the front 3, let me just go through some of these comments as they're stacking up. Boom. I thought Gomez looked better than the other games he's played this season. He seems to be getting better each game, and he doesn't get many games. I hear that. Mark A says we won't see Gomez return to his levels until next season. The club knows that as well. Mark A says this panel is top. Cheers, mate. Appreciate it, brother. Morton struggled again, like against Tottenham, poor defensively. Now he did. We'll get into it, bro. Don't worry about that. The midfield of Hendo, Ox, and Jones was too much for Norwich the first half. Yeah. Collectively. Oxlade not in the game against poor opposition. That's fair. Psychedelic Science says seems like an attitude problem with Ox. He plays his best when he's enjoying his football. He doesn't seem to be enjoying it. That's a very good point. It's a very good point. I think there's some truth in that. Ox looks like he has weight on his shoulders. It's showing on the pitch.
They're called chips.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. LFC for life. Big up yourself, my G. Just got home from work. Big up Saint and the panel in the chat. Hey, come on, my guy, man. I hope you're good, bro. And I hope you had a good day at work, man. Morton needs a loan.
Is he financially in trouble?
I would agree. All right, so let's get into the front 3 then. Jota.
6.
I thought I was going to say
he didn't look fit.
I was going to give him a 5.5. I thought he maybe had a little bit. No, actually, probably about 5. You're probably right, Steve, to be fair.
Yeah.
I can't think
right. He didn't do
I think
much,
6, to be fair.
6, yeah?
He did have a few moments. There was that little run. Remember that little run he done on the left where he beat a couple of men?
That little mazy. But other than that, bro.
Also for the goal, the first goal, he kind of took one out. Before it went to Divel, he kind of took a couple players out the game.
Yeah, I think 6.
His work rate was okay, but
I would agree with that in terms of if I had to say who had a better game, even slightly, Jota had a better game than Ox, bro.
Yeah. 5.56, I think. No, I can't really go higher than that. But yeah, like I said, he didn't really fit, to be honest. I feel like he's still he was in a hot streak, and he kind of got derailed him a bit. So I think.
Yeah, did he miss a sitter as well? Did he miss a sitter as well?
He missed the header.
Yeah.
5.5.
So good, yeah.
Would you say that was the sitter though?
For Jota.
He just needs to get it. Yeah.
That's very true.
I would have said he just needs to get on target.
I don't know if that's maybe fair, but we are judging him by his own standards, isn't it? Give up
1.
I think 6 is
1. Listen. I'm gonna say my team quickly. I would have gave Jota. I'm not sure. I would have gave Divock a 5, but because he got an assist, I have to mark him one up.
the
Other than
assist-
that, I thought he
The
was
assist was gone,
average.
but the man was ghosting that whole game.
Yeah.
He's so Origi's problem is he's so laid back and chilled. His work rate is 0, and this is exactly why Klopp doesn't play him and trust him. He has no work rate. Klopp doesn't want a player who won't do anything for 89 minutes and score a goal. That's not what Klopp
He's a
wants
sub.
in his forward line.
He's a sub.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to see Divock start too many games for us going forward.
He's a legend. He's a legend. He's a cult hero. But that's all I'll give him. This is why he, like you said, Jamie. This is why he doesn't start for us because
Jota didn't do as much, but Jota's work rate was better than Origi's. That's all I'd say.
The assist was clutch. I'll give him that. That was it.
That's why I'm giving him a
That's Divock. But that's Divock, ain't it? And then he goes missing. And then he goes missing for the rest of the game.
I think 5. If I'm being honest, I think 5. Like,
no, you have to mark him to 6. He got an assist, and the assist was good.
I think he was a 4.
He was
a 4.
2 then.
Oh, he never had a 4.
You're being too harsh.
He never had a 4 game.
Bear in mind, I gave
it wasn't 4.
I think he was
man.
This is a play.
We're not having it, bro.
You were good. I give him a 5. I
want to give him a 6. He had just for like the assist or 5.5. What do you think? You're quite left.
I have to stay at a 6 just because of the assist.
Yeah, but the 6 was crazy, bro.
This was a good assist.
What else did he do? Can anyone name anything else he did?
I can't.
What else did he do? Yeah, he was running towards the ball.
Without the assist, it's an average game. And we had this.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. It
was not below average without the assist.
And you gotta remember, bro, when was the all right. Name me the last time Origi started. Name me the last game Origi started.
I couldn't tell you.
But I think we know the reason. That's the reason he doesn't start games, though. It's because of his work rate.
No, but
it's his work rate. That's why Klopp don't play him.
At the same time, Jamie, yeah, like you have to give him something for being able to come in at minimal minutes, minimal times. We collectively we're sitting here puffing our cheek. Couldn't tell you the last time he started. And he's still clutch. Like you have to.
Do you know what? Do you know what we give him? He's played for Liverpool far longer than he should have, and he's counting his lucky stars.
Nah,
that's for me.
I disagree.
I'm happy he's still here. I'm one of the ones that never wanted to sell him in January as well. I think we need to just see the story out because come May,
you won't find another.
Man's been at Liverpool. Man's been at Liverpool longer than Klopp.
But you won't find another centre forward that plays for 8 minutes every 2 weeks. There's just smashing down the manager's door, causing all kinds of shit at the training ground because he's not playing. There's a place for a player in your squad that doesn't give you grief because he doesn't play.
And good enough. And I don't care what no one says. He's good enough. I don't care about I hear what you're saying, and I'm not sitting there saying that he works, but he is talented. Like he does that. That isn't that pass, the goal, whatever, the scorpion he's doing earlier in the earlier rounds. These aren't like you're not sitting there going, "Oh wow,
no,
he's done that."
He's got talent. He's a talented boy. He is a talented boy, and I've said it time and time again. If he played for Brighton, he'd get 15 goals a season for me. He would. He is a talented boy. What I'm saying, I'm doing it from Klopp's point of view, and the reason why he doesn't start.
You can't have a front line full of six men,
and that's why he doesn't start. It's because his work rate.
No,
you watch Klopp give him a contract. You watch Klopp keep him at the club, mate.
You know,
but like you say, Steve, there isn't many strikers you'd get around the world that'll only play certain minutes here and there without moaning about it. So you are right there. You are right.
Would you not give him a new contract?
The thing is about Divock. I just blame Finesse Mori from Everton because before he did that terrible he was one of our best players, and I think he would have went on to be a great player. But that injury messed him up because he was brilliant before that.
No, you're right, man. No, I think he's a brilliant player.
Who'd give him a new contract then? Out of the ones in the room, just quick. I know you're the host, Sen, so sorry for stealing the thunder, mate.
There's no host, bruv. That's my name on the door, bruv.
Who'd give him a contract? Would you give him a contract, Sen?
Eddie looking a bit techie right now. All right, let's go around, innit?
I'm trying to think.
Let me start. I'm trying to think of who I can start because I already know. Like,
I don't know, man.
I'm interested.
You know what?
I've already put this flag down.
If he wants to sign just a straight extension on the same money, everything, cool. I'm cool with that. But man, can't be getting
And you really don't rate my guy, innit? You
No, I rate him, bro.
No
I
pay
rate him.
rise. No pay rise.
Come on,
Please.
man. Listen. Bro, you just said it, bro. A man plays 8 minutes every 2 weeks, and you want to be raising man's money, bro. Come on, man. On the same
Jamie's
fuck. I don't want to lose all my subs. No, look, I do like it. Divoc's a cult hero. He always will be. And I always say what he does for the City, Liverpool, and all that stuff he's invested in as well. Top man. It all depends who we get in the summer. If we get another attacker in the summer, then he's off.
We won't buy another attacker in the
But
summer.
if we don't, then I'll give him a contract.
A yes or no answer.
Come on, Jamie.
I'm going to yes. yeah. Go on, because I want to keep my subs. Yes.
All right, Steve, you would, innit?
Yeah, we don't need to go and spend money. We need to buy one, maybe two for the midfield. So why complicate matters and have to buy another forward? It's a no-brainer for me.
Roms?
Yes, that Annie said an extension. Yes.
And you would be like, nah, get to fuck. I would.
I just feel like the story's come to a nice end, innit? The contract's done. Like, let's not. I don't want it to get to a thing where it's becoming too stale. And he's like, because I think we do need another forward.
But he's got more moments. I feel he actually has more moments.
What? I see Divock getting a winner in the Champions League final again now.
He does that.
We've got 8 players who can play up front, mate. We've got 8 guys who can play in the forward role. We ain't buying a striker in the summer.
Wait, let me ask you lot all something? Because shout out LFC for that. He's just said it. Do you reckon we'll still get Carvalho from Fulham?
Yeah, that's still done. I think that's almost done. Apparently,
the rumor is he goes back there for a year, though.
Yeah. Which is fine. He's Bobby's replacement, isn't he?
Yes. And then on the right,
Taki.
Give him everything.
9.5.
It's not
9.5.
Can't give him a 10.
I wouldn't give him a 10 because I feel like he tapered off a little bit towards the end. If I'm honest with you, I think like the first half was worthy of a 10, but in all, I don't think he ended the game as strong as he started the game. But I'm happy to give him a 9. I think he was
man of the match.
Yeah, totally.
I agree. We all 9. That's
9 all day. 9 all day.
Very none. Before we go into some of these comments and we end it out of here, subs. I was gonna say Jones, not Jones. What's my name? Elliot.
5.5.
Yeah.
5. It's 5.5. Yeah.
I see that he created the most chances out of anyone in the game, but I don't remember him doing that much. I see this afterwards. I don't really remember him doing too much.
Yeah, I don't remember him doing a lot.
You man was saying like 5.5, 6. I kind of agree, but I just wanted to throw that one out there. But
5.5.
He created more chances than Jones whilst he was on the pitch. I don't know about
apparently
that.
more than anyone in the whole game in the 45 minutes he was on, which I saw that I was like, what? But I thought it was understated.
Where did you see that? Twitter?
No, it was on like one of the Liverpool.
Oh,
I don't know,
man.
Yeah,
I don't know. Man. I didn't think he did.
The thing with creating chances, though, if no one actually finishes it, you don't remember the chances created.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
I would probably say about 5.5. Diaz.
Ooh, 10.
He actually looked really good when he came on.
10.
He looked like he wanted to score.
This guy is outrageous. Like
anything Diaz does is a 10, bro. I don't give a fuck.
He was. Tell you what, he was better than Origi for the 5 minutes he was on.
Exactly.
That's true. But
he just looks like he wants to score.
He nearly scored. He nearly scored.
Mane.
Did he play?
I don't know. Bro, it was like 10 minutes.
Oh,
man.
he came on.
Yeah.
He came on.
Yeah, I was gonna say 5 as well.
5.
Yeah. He made some good runs off the ball and that. Yeah, 5.
Oh, Morton came on as well.
Morton.
I feel bad for this. I feel bad for Morton.
That's harsh, Roms, man.
I feel bad for Morton.
The minute he came on, that's when.
One thing is, I don't really rate him. Let me just say that, but I don't really rate him. But he's not a DM, is he? I feel like Klopp, like we said before, is trying to do the square peg round holes, and you don't just become a DM overnight. And it takes look at Fab when he first came into our team. It takes you to players alone to Liverpool. It's not easy. However,
you know what? That was impulsive. I was proper frustrated. It wasn't a free, but he just when he came on, I was just
it's not
carry
good.
on.
I see the low socks as well. I'm like, bro, just relax a bit. Just I think 4 or 5.
Yeah, he's just
a 4.
I would probably gonna say he was probably the worst player on the pitch for me.
I think when he came on, they started to grow in confidence. They literally saw, let's target him, and they started to grow in confidence.
He is, but he
like
wasn't.
Ish says, yeah. Like Ish
Wait, what did we give Elliot? A 5?
5.5.
Yeah,
5.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5.5.
Morton can't be any for me. I don't know about you.
4.5.
Yeah, he can't be any higher than a 4.5.
I don't think he was as good as some of the players that we gave a 5 to. And you know what? Like Ish had said this before, like to come on, and be like forgotten is really bad. But I feel just as bad is to come on and then have a man realize the importance of a man that you took the place of. Like that's quite bad. You know, like that. Like,
the thing with Morton.
Like, I'm not supposed to be thinking about my old thing. Like, you know, them ones there, I'm supposed to be like, yo, this guy's changing the game. Like,
the thing I will say about Morton, he has no presence, does he? He has no presence. Like, I know he's 18. But he looks 14, don't he?
Yeah.
When I saw Harvey Elliott at 16, Harvey Elliott looked older in his age. He looked like he had a presence about him. And this is nothing about Morton as a footballer. I think he can turn into have a good professional career. I really do. He might not be at Liverpool, but I think he would have gone to have a good professional career. But at this moment in time, he doesn't seem to have a presence. And when he comes on the pitch, he looks shy, timid.
And it's different. It's different being a Cade Gordon up on the wing or a Nico Williams
when you're
out
in that middle.
You're in that middle.
So I feel like you'll get scrutinized a bit more. Yeah, you're right. Maybe I've been a bit harsh, but going off what Jamie said, do any of you think he will actually be a future starter for us? I know he's young. I am factoring that in, but there's just some, certain young players, you just have an automatic feel to them. I don't know what it is with Morton. I just don't have.
I thought Grujic was better, bro. I really thought. I
think we put Morton in too early in his development, and we
have
this unreal expectation he should be something that he isn't. By all accounts, all the people at the club that have been involved in his coaching think he's going to be a special player. We basically took the last controlling piece of our midfielder off and threw a kid on there and said, go and deal with that. Yeah. So for me to sit here and, no disrespect, Roms, to show 3 fingers is really harsh.
No, it was.
We asked a lot of him last night and they got their tails up, and there's no way you can solve that on your own. So jury's out on that kid for me, but the word is at the club is that he's going to be a special player. He's shown enough already, but he probably should have come into the side in 12 months' time when he's had another 12 months. Under 23s is a difficult one. A couple of people said he needs a loan, and I would agree with that. They don't tackle you in under 23s football. So when you go in the Premier League and you get smashed by Billy Gilmore, who's trying to earn his place back at Chelsea, that's not something he sees every week. So I think it's difficult to judge him right now. He needs a loan. I do agree with that.
And you know what? To take back what I actually did, the rating I gave him, he did put in quite a stellar performance at the San Siro. And for his age to do that, I have to give him his props in a way, because that's not an easy ground to go to.
Yeah, there's a player there. There's a player there, definitely. It's just, as Steve said, like everyone involved at Liverpool says he could be a very good player. So I just think he needs to go out on loan and play man's football every single week, like a bit like Harvey did when he went to Blackburn, the Championship. Man you up, get you ready, get smashed, get tackled. I think Morton does that for a season. That'll mature him far quicker than sticking him down to 23s for 3 years.
Yeah,
we need another midfielder. Someone else who can play DM as well, like Genie last season. He can do the central midfield thing, but also like if Hendo and Fab need a break, I don't want Morton to be the next one in line because I feel like that's not going to be.
Yeah,
it's not good for his development. I don't think I think he's been fast tracked a bit too soon. I think.
Yeah. If Gruich weren't ready, I don't see how Morton is. If I'm honest.
No, he just
and then Klopp.
Right, Klopp.
We won. We got through, didn't we? Simple as.
Yeah, simple.
8.
No. Yeah, 7.5, 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
7.5, 8. Cool with that.
Subs are good as well. Obviously, the Morton one was a bit like, but Hendo needed the break in it, so I can understand why he did it.
Steve.
Yeah.
Mane sub. Thoughts on that?
Him being sub last night, I thought he should. Listen, Mane's got Diaz and Jota trying to take his place off him. Mane needs games to prove that of those three, he's not in the third place. Because I don't think Jota necessarily suits playing through the middle, but we might find that changes because Diaz is so good on the left-hand side. Jota may have to adapt and learn to play through the centre a bit more. He gives you a different skill set than Bobby. Right now in the 4, Jota, Salah, Mane, and Diaz. I've got 3 of them ahead of Mane on current form. Diaz looks like Mane did when he joined the club. He's hungry and wants to play through challenges and put himself out there and run his blood to water. And he's absolutely done in after the game on Sunday, dead on his feet. Sadio's done it, hasn't he? He's won trophies. The worst thing you can do as a professional footballer when you've won trophies is relax and think you've completed it. And that's the difference between him and Salah. Salah's hungry every game to go out there and be the best Salah that he can be. I think Mane's dropped off a little bit in terms of his intensity. And Diaz will take his shirt off him. Simple as that.
I don't know if Mane's dropped off in terms of like desire or intensity. I just think the quality is not as. I'm not saying he's still not. He's still class, but for me, when I look at Mane now, the drop off has only been in his quality. I would say the finishes. Some of the finishes where before like 18, 19, 19, 20, he'd do it with eyes shut. Like the Leicester game, for example, he's skying them well over the bar. Like, I don't think you can. For me, his desire is still there, but I completely agree with what Steve's saying in terms of like if you look at that left hand side now, Diaz is coming in and he's almost undroppable already. Like if we had a cup final, we saw we had a cup final on the weekend. Diaz shooing to start. Jota again splits the opinion whether he's better on the left or through the middle. So Mane is either going to have to adapt himself to maybe doing the number 9 role, which he's done recently, or like Steve said, he could be looking at being third choice coming into next season. But
ain't we got some great problems? Ain't it good to have?
Yeah, no, 100%. But I do agree with Ish in that if I had to side on either one, you see what he does in the Senegal. You see the desire, you see the hunger, you see, you know what I mean. And I feel like it's still there. I just feel like maybe it's just the quality. I don't feel he's the same. He's quite the same player.
So can I play devil's advocate on that one for a second? Saying international football, the standard of international football has dropped off a cliff. 20 years ago, international football was elite. Now club football has bypassed it and left it behind a long, long way. They play much harder games at the bottom end of the Premier League and in the FA Cup against top championship sides than they ever do at international football in any tournament. I think international football is more liberal and more free, and people don't get fired because you lose 3 games at international football.
No,
it's not like that.
Even within his own game, there's loads of games within the Premier League where the main critique I've had of Mane has been his final third quality, his industry, and what he's been doing with his partnership with Robbo, the link up, the hustling, the left back, defensive work, all of that has been good. It's been really good. But it's the nonsense that I'm seeing. So that's why I'm like, I feel like it's just, you know what I mean? I feel like the industry and the will to it is still there. He is still that type of player.
He hasn't become a shocking player overnight.
No, he ain't. No,
but the guys at the club who want his position are in better form than him. Mm-hmm. So this isn't a digging Mane out saying what's happened to you. You're suddenly crap and you shouldn't play anymore. This is saying just be careful because we've got this young Colombian lad who's come to the football club that's hell bent on making himself a career. Really, the sky's the limit for Diaz in terms of where he goes to in the Liverpool shirt. He is ridiculous. He could go on and be another Salah type signing where you sit here in 2 years' time going, my God, what a signing that was. that the challenge to Mane now is to say, go and rediscover yourself, go and find yourself, and be that player again. So it's a difficult one for him, and he just needs to be careful. He's still a great player, and if we put him on the transfer market tomorrow, there'd be a queue of clubs around the block trying to sign him. So not for 1 second is he.
We're all talking about Mane in this situation. The man could still get over 15 league goals this season. I mean, he's on 11 right now.
There you go.
I mean, that just tells you everything. We're a bit spoilt at the moment, and this ain't been like, we ain't had this for a long time. You know, that depth up front, we are a bit spoilt, and it's great to have. We're having these arguments like, should Mane play? Should Diaz play? Should Jota play? Should Bobby play? Smart. You know, what a great thing we can talk about at this moment in time. We should count our stars, really.
Yeah, Jamie, just touching on that as well, because you made a good point. Mane's only 1 goal behind Jota, and we're saying Jota's having a brilliant season. So I think Mane's a victim. He's a victim of his own standards. Like, we know what the level he's capable of reaching. But obviously, right now he's not reaching his ceiling. But we know he's still a player that would walk into most other teams in the league. I think he get into Chelsea's team, he get into Arsenal's team, he get into a lot of other teams.
He'd walk into Arsenal's team.
These comments before we get out of it, because I've kept you lot for quite a while. I know
this has been great. It's been great.
Psychedelic Sighting says, to be fair, Morton is only 19. I thought he kept possession well, made good passes. He's only a kid playing the 6, give him time. Guys, I hear that. Marque says, Ish said Morton doesn't pass the low socks check. He's not got his source level in high. Like,
Thiago, that's the level. That's the level right now.
Ravi says Diaz definitely one of the missing pieces to Liverpool's puzzle. Definitely 100%. Morton needs to hit the gym still. Like I says, maybe in a few years he bulks up a bit. Definitely, because people are saying that he is a bit. He's not weighty in that midfield. My guy needs some protein. Morton could do with a loan. Yeah. It could do a championship loan. Would do him good for physicality. So quite a lot of the chat, I think, in the same thing. Academy football is much different to men's football. That's pretty much what Steve said. I think Morton will be fine. I think he's got a good head in his shoulders, and plus he looks like he wants to get better. That is true. He does go towards the ball. That's one thing. He doesn't shy away from it. I would say that. Yeah, loan will toughen Morton up. So a lot of men are saying the same thing. I agree. The Blackburn loan seemed to improve Elliott. He got a lot of goals and assists from Blackburn. He was their best player. So psychedelic. LFC for license clock 8 and an 8 or a 9. I think we ended up giving him 8, 7.5. Mane made 250th appearance for us against Norwich. Hey, shot! Big up yourself, Mane, man. That's big, man. Didn't even know. That's big. That's very big still. Jota the Portuguese Robbie Fowler.
Nowhere near.
That's not a bad shout.
Robbie Fowler was different, man.
He was different gravy. Mane, how old Jota? 27?
25.
No, he's younger than that.
Him and Diaz are both 25.
Yeah,
both 25. It's ridiculous.
Let him have a ceiling to get to. Do you know what I mean? Mane's third top goal scorer, by the way. Yeah, I think Ennie said that, or I think it was Jamie. I don't think Sadio has been bad this season. He hasn't been bad. Bad, but he hasn't been the Sadio of old either. Diaz looks a nailed on star already for sure. He's electric and determined. He is. Mane's still well classed. Marque says Salah keeps evolving his game. Mane struggles in that aspect for me. Mane's still world class, LFC for life. Now, so we're definitely getting a lot of Mane appreciations within the chat. Mane has definitely improved and still looks sharp. Plus, he's older now. Guys, don't think that we was putting any type of disrespect on Mane.
We love Mane.
He's a big up Mane each and every time, man. Come on. Diaz formed a partnership with Robinson in 5 minutes. Robinson seems that type of player, to be very honest with you, man. He does what he wants and he's gonna cover you in it. So it doesn't seem like it's gonna be hard. Remember that Bayern goal and the Arsenal one on his debut, the one that broke Klopp's glasses, I think. Mane is still well class form. His temporary class is permanent, and Diaz is going to be a several season wonder like Salah. Done. Talk that. Remember that Fowler hat-trick against Arsenal.
With Mane, would we all be moaning about Mane apparently being off it and poor if Salah weren't being this good. So if Salah didn't play for us, would we actually be saying anything about Mane?
Fingers and Mane though, like he could bag a brace.
I think he gets compared. I think the comparisons are always
that's what
Salah's here, Mane, like.
Yeah.
For me, when I watch Mane, there's basics which sometimes just frustrates me so much. It's like,
yeah.
can you not tap the ball, or can you not make a 5-yard pop?
Yeah,
Like,
Salah does that a lot.
But what frustrates you though, it's the final third play. Like there's a lot of stuff that Mane's doing. I'm like, man, regardless of what you're doing, there's not a left wing on earth that I can. Do you know? I mean, even Diaz ain't doing what it is that Mane.
He's always about it as well. He's always present. He's always trying.
Always.
That's the one thing. That's the one thing I rate him for. But
he's a bad man. We just need to
stuff. You're better than that. But
we just need to freshen up though. We just need to just, do you know what I mean? And like Steve says, we've got 5 men that can play up different positions within that forward line, and do you know what I mean? We've got Kaiser at the helm, so it's good times, man. Great time to be alive and to be a Liverpool supporter, I must say. Guys, just coming up to the end of the show, man. It is literally 2-hour stream, man. Don't know time flying when you're having fun, man. And I've absolutely had a ball, man. It's been really enjoyable. Thank you for my guests. I'm gonna throw it around now. Let people know where they can find you in your socials and what you got coming up. If anything, let me know. Any, go ahead, man.
Yeah, man. Big up yourself, Saint Bro, as well, man. And big up the panel as well, man. Been a cracking show. 2 hours just gone like that, man. It's flown by. But you can find me on Twitter at Any4X. Just chopping it up, man. A little bit of Liverpool football banter here and there. But yeah, man. Twitter at Any4X.
Hey, love. Thanks for coming on, Any, man. Much appreciated. Jamie, let them know.
All right. Thanks for having me on, fella. This has been absolutely fantastic. This has been the best football YouTube show on tonight. Sorry, Coppish.
Come on, come on.
All love to them as well. They're great. But yeah, you can find me on Jamie Phillips Football Chats on YouTube. I've got some big stuff happening on the show. I've got a massive guest on Easter Monday, but I can't say too much about it yet. But it's going to be huge. I'll tell you after. I'm doing watch-alongs all the. So I'll be doing the watch-along on Saturday for the Liverpool game. I'm doing boxing watch-alongs, UFC watch-alongs. That's all coming up on the channel now. Yeah, go and follow me there if you like.
Go and follow him, man, and give him a sub, man. Come on, man. Much appreciated. Steve, thank you very, very well. I didn't even realize it was your debut, and it's been honestly way overdue. So yeah, you can slap me later on behind the screen, backstage. Let them know where they can find you, Steve, man.
You can get me on my socials. Where I talk about my football these days is on Redmen TV. That's sort of weekly, if not a little bit more than that of late, which is really cool and very enjoyable. So in terms of my channel, there isn't anything on there. There's nothing to subscribe to. It's kind of closed down. I'm doing guests on like your pod and other things like that, mate, which is pretty cool. Thanks for having me. Anyone that stumbles across this, make sure you like and subscribe. Liverpool is a family. Podcasting is a family. We have to support each other. Big yourself up, mate. I always enjoy having a chat with football about you. Back in the day on Bob's channel, it got a bit mental, mate. So
I know.
Yeah. And for those of you I haven't met, I know you Any from Domasan's channel. I know you Jamie, but Roms and Ish, really cool to meet you tonight, guys. Pleasure. So thank you.
Nah, definitely, man. He's right. We're a family, man. And with that, to my family members, man. I'll go on, Rams. Let them know, my G.
Yeah, you can find me right there. Ramel Andre. The L is a 1. But yeah, just always tweeting about Liverpool and stuff. But like you said, Steve, I think I've met everyone before this stream, but you're the first time I met you. It was a pleasure, man. Like you said, LFC, we're all the family, all supporting each other, and yeah, this stream was great. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, please make sure you're going over and supporting my guy Jamie Phillips, Football Chats, and also please just go and support my guy at Weird and Wonderful, man. Like really putting up some great content. Ish,
got the greatest captions, man. Them captions are elite.
I'm telling you, bro. And I told him from early. I'm telling you, like big things, man. Like he's doing big things. The what's it called? What do you call him? What do you call my man? My admin. The admin. That's it. The admin.
Yeah, man. We're always working. Always working. So I was feeling horrible today, but I was like, listen, let me come through for Saint.
Same.
No, thank you, man.
It's got to be done. 2 hours flew by like that. Any Jamie, Steve, I haven't met you guys before, but listen, the connection was there straight away. When we're talking about our club, like you lot said, it's a family thing, isn't it? So yeah, big up everyone. Make sure you show some love for this video as well. Slap a like button, hit subscribe and that as well. But yeah, always a pleasure to come through, man. Always a pleasure.
Come on, man. Come on, my guys. Top show again. Thank you, Mark A. Much appreciated. Big up the panel. Love Pablo. Ravi, big man thing. This has been live. Thank you. Like I'm so glad you lot have enjoyed it, man. It's a late one, and I know you man probably got work in that. So I'm gonna let everyone go and do their thing. Big up Ravi, man. Love and LFC for life, man. I see you. Yo, been saying LFC TV. Come on, another episode. Steve, Jamie Phillips, Any Roms, my guy Ish. Have a very great night, and we'll be back for the West Ham preview. Boom.